And so we're back with part 2. So we just got through talking about what we learned in Genesis 1 through 5. Now let's look a little bit into the rest of Genesis. And so chapter 6, we see man has become wicked. God's creation has become really wicked. And for anybody that wants to know, I don't read out any version of the Bible other than King James Version. It's the only version of the Bible that doesn't skip a verse. If you want to know what I'm talking about, look up Matthew 17:21 and see if you find it in any other version of the Bible besides King James Version. As we keep on going, we see that God is very, very, very angry about what man is doing in chapter 6 because they're sinning against him. And so he decides he's going to send a flood and destroy the earth, and that requires a man named Noah. And he promises a covenant with man if Noah does this, and he tells him to create an ark out of gopher wood. Now, gopher wood's pretty strong wood. And so he sends this flood on the 600th year of Noah's life. So Noah's a pretty old man. And the only 8 people allowed on that ark was Noah, his wife, his 3 sons, and their wives. And there was only certain animals you took 2 of, but there were certain animals you took several of. Okay? Chapter 8, we find that the waters have receded. So he went 40 days with the flood, 150 after that. Then while the ark was on the water for 74 days while the water was receding, and then he sent out, the raven and the dove, and then it came back. 7 days later he sent again, came back. 7 more days, sent again, didn't come back. And then in chapter 9 we find that there's a rainbow, and boy, how we got a lot of confusion about that. But we see that, and then in 10, Noah's descendants. And so far, that's where I'm at, is in chapter 10 and 11. We see the descendants of Noah's sons. Okay, and then in chapter 11, it talks more about the Tower of Babel. And that's a pretty good update on that. Matthew's got so much in it. Ester's got so much in it. First Chronicles is just a bunch of generations on top of generations. And then Matthew, we see the Sermon on the Mount. We see so many different things in Ester. Of course, in Ester we see how she becomes queen, and how this one guy is trying to have Mordecai and all the Jews killed, and end up in the long run, Haman and his 10 sons are all hung by the neck. And so we see that Queen Esther was protected by God there. I recommend really reading Matthew if you haven't. Matthew is really an exciting book, and we'll just get more into it as we go forward.